CRKT Ruger collaboration, Go and Heavy, designed by Bill Harsey, with a 5-inch 12.5 centimeter blade with a blade thickness of 0.188 inch or 4.8 millimeters, and we have an 8Cr blade, has aluminum handles. And this knife right now you can find online deals for about $50, but its MSRP is about $100 on the Ruger CRKT websites. You hear lots of positive online reviews about this knife. That's what surprised me. Things like, oh, it's an awesome tactical, big and aggressive, badass knife. In a way, when you look at the knife shape and the overall design, the length, you know that this knife was specifically designed for heavy tactical and super heavy use. In general, I like Harsey blades, and if you look, the Harsey blades, they kind of follow similar pattern, whether he collaborates with Fantoni, Spartan blades, or with whomever. He likes his blade designs very practical, and he thinks this is the most practical design, and I like that. This knife is not for pocket use. It does not even have a pocket clip. That's understandable. It's about 300 grams, 10.5 ounces. And being fan of big EDC knives like Cold Steel 4 Max, Cold Steel Raj 2, Medford Praetorian, Spyderco Tatanka, I did kind of find a lot of flaws with this knife. So I was surprised to hear so many good reviews online. And when I kind of tested and took a close look on this knife, I kind of thought all those positive reviews is just a big bullshit, and I will explain you why I think so. The main weakness of this knife, I think, for heavy and super heavy use, you'd need extremely strong blade. You can do some prying, some heavy work for the defensive position hold of the knife. You should be pretty much be able to take down a concrete wall. Well, not with the 8Cr blades. So one of the big weaknesses of this knife, because it's intended for super heavy and very tough tactical use, the blade steel, it is 8Cr. 8Cr, it's not a blade steel that should be used for hard and heavy use. If you use 8Cr for heavy or even moderate use, you pretty much would need to sharpen it after every use, which would get very annoying and would consume a lot of your time. Hard and heavy use knives need very tough blade material, and 8Cr is not a type of blade material you could use for any heavy or even at times medium tasks at all. American AUS 8, AUS 8, something that I call minimum blade steel, that I will consider buying or calling a knife if it has that steel. Anything below that I don't even call knife, it's just junk and it's just bullshit. So 8Cr is a kind of like bare minimum, I would say. It's close to AUS 8 blade steel, my minimum, but 8Cr I think is even lower than that, because it's very prone to chipping, unlike the AUS 8. So if they wanted to design a knife so for hard and very hard use, and they should have used at least either the 9Cr blade or American D2 or any other better blade steels, any other tougher steels that are designed for heavy, super heavy use. This knife does open easily, but again, one of the major flaws, because it is designed to be a very hard use tactical knife, it is the blade. I would love to see super steels on this, like CPM 20CV LMAX M390, but if that was the blade steel on this one, the price point would be for this knife probably at least 300 or 400 bucks, and for that price point you would not want to spend on Ruger CRKT knife, and there are much better options out there. You can get a lot of great steels. You can buy Spartan blades, Bill Harsey design knife, exactly similar design, slightly lower 4-inch blade, and you'd be very amazed with that knife and the super blade steel. So I do understand why they put the cheap 8Cr blade on this one, and I think they made a mistake, because in a way with that kind of a junk blade steel, you can design different type of knives, not the one that is really intended for hard, super hard, heavy tactical use. Try using this knife in that way, and you'll find yourself sharpening every 10 minutes. Other issues I found on this guy: the pivot that has red Loctite inside, it does not deassemble, and you see the struggle here, because I was trying to remove the cheap, I am not sure if you can, oh yes, you can see it has the cheap white Teflons inside, so I wanted to replace it with the phosphorus bronze, but I was not able to remove this, so I need to use either soldering iron, make it super hot so the red Loctite gets loose, or just Dremel across, cut it, and just force opening. Overall, this is not a hard use or super hard use badass knife. I would give this knife 5 out of 10 points, and 5 points just because I love Bill Harsey as a designer. If Bill Harsey's name was not on this, I would say it doesn't even deserve 1 point out of 10. It's just junk and bullshit. So if you want a really good, awesome tactical hard use knife, go for a better brands. There are much more better knives with Medfords, Chris, Reeve, Rick Hinderer, or any other designer. This is just a waste of your 50 or 100 bucks, and I don't recommend you buying this.